Good afternoon on what is a cool, grey and overcast day. It is Wednesday the 15th of March. I've got a nice hot cup of tea. And a small parcel to unbox. Let's get this one open. Tack the end because it's glued, quite firmly glued down. So I'll just get the knife underneath there. And reaching in, what I have got is a copy of, let's put it that way, You Got a Job on the Garbage Barge. So, and it comes complete on the back with a trash shanty, which I promise you I'm not going to perform. It doesn't actually say what it is. I'm trying to remember where it came from. That's my problem. Okay, so the known barge. It kind of leaps into things. Let's see if there's anything else in here. I don't think there is. So yes, You Got a Job on the Garbage Barge, and it doesn't say what it's for or who the publisher is. I'm literally going to have to go and research that afterwards. So, the known barge, he starts off with the known barge here, with a nice map or cross section of the barge, and it's just essentially the known barge, the subway. About a week ago, a barge worker named Thayer found a mostly intact pneumatic tube system. Squatters on the barge pulled most of their money and paid the wizard Bathouse John Coughlin to cast a souped-up enlarged spell on it. And now there is a way to get about the material in relative safety. The tunnels have opened pathways to places that used to be inaccessible, but they've also punched a hole in the hull. And you've got details about the tugboats and Irene, the pilot of the tugboat Irene, and the giant Humboldt squid. Not sure how that's involved. You've got Eddie, who is the pilot for the tugboat Wanderer, and so on. Front crane, tool crane, things to sell, animal sentinels, and things for rent like gas masks, lanterns, headlamps, 50-foot rope, fishing kit, diving suit, barge worker housing, and there's a yacht wreck on there, and then a graveyard, misspelling engravings and badly sculpted sheep loomed over by a mourning lady on a bier who turned out to be too sexy. And then we have Cat Salvage by Scrap Princess, contribution by Scrap Princess, the artist. Shop donations, liabilities, new items. So we've got things like a microwave beam, 100-foot range, cordless intense pain to living beings, boil water in about a minute. A flavorator, presumably used in low-quality food production, looks like an industrial-strength turkey baster crossed with a Nerf gun. Squirts a sticky, salty liquid that requires extreme cleaning to remove its smell. Life straw, looks like a large bong. Stick one end into a liquid and stick it on the other end and it will convert the liquid into a refreshing bit alcoholic drink. We have a depletion system on board, which... okay, that's basically the equipment on board. Subsurface trash, including a toad hotel, the salt flat, and the back of a hippopotamus, and a raccoon farm, if you really wanted to farm raccoons. Mud pots, 3 Olympic swimming pools now filled with gently shimmering muck, old Tama and the old Tama fire, a small town thoroughly burnt out, still smouldering. Used to be only could see from the roof of the gas lake, and that could be Tama or tarmac, I wonder. A wall of doors, leave a door, take a door, you should knock first, sometimes they still work. A foam palace, utterly odd. The Merc Bilge, where you will find wild barge clams and a barge coral. So you have this environment aboard this, at this giant garbage barge. Not just an environment, but almost sort of like an ecology. So yeah, and you have speaking beetles. Beetle lives for about a year, which means they have to choose their life paths quickly and quickly be comfortable with mortality. So they form intense, intimate friendships and adapt well to new situations. We have what's we've got? Speaking Beetles by ZXZeal. I do apologise if I pronounce your name wrong. Speaking beaters, which you create, colour, physique, power and pursuits, and give them character. Possessions, residence, and even possibility you can play as a speaking beater, which is Speaking Possums by Dungeons and Possums, of course. Tassel worms, tassel worm kittens. Essentially a cat looking for her kittens. Yoo-hoos by Scrap Princess, which essentially mutant life form created through the bizarre chemicals and mutagens dumped and instantly create mixed here on the barge. So your first job is to keep the gas lake from exploding. So you've got an adventure there as well, dealing with a potential ecological, environmental disaster. So yeah, you even got to deal with things like lake gas there. This is actually probably the densest section of text in here, and you might encounter fissures. It's a jelly shark, and then you're going on a trash dive. This is by Sasha Sienna and Jonathan Sims, and essentially this is probably another mission. You've got the characters for the adventure: Oscar Hunch, Mr. Mandible, Scoping Jenny, the mechanics. Gymnad Pewter, Rufio Blunge, and Granny Hogan, and then locations. Essentially, under the barge, and explore. Essentially, what they're doing is exploring the barge here, underwater. Discover its extents, just how far it goes down, and you've got various different tables and so on to support it. So you've got a Appendix A, table of smells. Forceful hairspray banned by most civilized nations for the dangerous chemicals it contains. A collapsing bus station in winter, or gut wound possibly infected. Deep fryer oil, baby powder, beets sliced and boiled. That's turnips. 21. Else. And then you actually have a further table, like sentient gold smells, soap smells, and so on. Just make something very much of the smells, and you even have an example, some example NPC smells you can encounter during play. And then you have a bard college, so you can be a scent scald. Actually weird. And everything around you is trash, just things littering the barge around you. So yeah, this looks utterly odd and weird. The obvious issue with it, essentially, first off, is what's this for? And it doesn't tell you, and it doesn't give you an introduction. Not every role-playing game has to hold your or product has to hold your hand when it starts off, but sort of like a starting point, an indication. And then what's this for? Well, presumably this is kind of systems neutral, systems agnostic. You can adapt it to the rule set of your choice. It suggests fairly modern. You know, if it has things like a microwave laser, but still quite odd, its own little ecosystem, as it were, which you could explore at your leisure. And I can see this working for things that are kind of sit out the settings that kind of sit outside what you would call traditional kind of settings or role-playing games. So in particular, you might think of this would be great for you know, for a weird troika adventure, but then almost every adventure for troika is weird, or you know, or ultra Hypertellurians adventures across the ultracosm would also work as well. You know, multi kind of genre, out of space, out of time kind of games like that. But anyway, that's You Got a Job on the Garbage Barge. If you enjoyed this unboxing, then please do click on the like button down below. And of course, if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to yet more unboxings in the Nook, where you will see me out here with a package containing a book or game, or in this case a supplement, which I will unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea, then please do click on the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing of the Nook. Be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.